Hey, Perchy! Not bad for the first cast, eh? Critter, can't get enough of it. Lovely. Okay, and welcome to Fox Rage TV. Today you join me, we're at Toft Newton Fishery up in Lincolnshire, and straight from the bat we are into fish. We're fishing for perch today, mainly Texas rigging and with rage. Oh, there you go. With critters, and I'm literally having a hit of chuck, and it looks very, very promising indeed. So without any more delay, because we're getting plenty of action and I want to get into these fish, because I've got a feeling it's going to be a very good day indeed. Okay, so in terms of features here at Toft Newton, as you can see, it's just a concrete bowl basically. And from speaking to the fishery owner and a few other guys that I know, that there's one real feature that really screams out, and that's that there's an old pipe that runs from the tower across the lake a short distance, and a bit of a cutout underneath it, and that's basically what I'm fishing. I'm just inching this Texas rig critter back to the boat very, very slowly, and that's allowing me to fish in all the snags, the cover in the weed. With great effect really. The reason I've come to this spot is because it's the only real feature in this reservoir, being a concrete bowl. It's obviously going to draw predators, and it's the first sort of area to try for the perch, because this time of year they'll still be shoaled up, getting ready for spawning, etc. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be here. There's also weed beds to the left and the right of the area, so everything that the perch need really is right there, so they don't have much reason to move. The only reason they're going to move is angling pressure or pike or something like that, you know, to push them out of the way. But they're here and we're catching. It's gone a bit dry now because I think I'm a bit on the wrong side of the pipe to where I was getting the bites before. I'll have a few more casts just to see. I have also changed colour. As you can see, this is the new UV critter from Rage, the pink candy, and we've had a hit on it. I'm going to persevere with it for a few more casts, then change colour again and see if that makes any difference. That was a good work. There you go. Another nice perch on the crisser. Proper whack that, really felt it whack that hard. I could just feel it coming down the side of the structure, whatever's there, and as it's fell down, absolutely hit that straight away. Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, well, as you've seen already today, we're using the critters, and I'm fishing them Texas rig. The reason for that is it allows me to fish very tight to the bottom, in and amongst the debris, because there's plenty of snags down there, the old pipe and God knows what else, and the weed as well. So that's my approach, and I'm just going to go through you a few options available to you, really. Okay, so I'll just show you how to tie this Texas rig, and here at Fox Rage we've got all the components you need to do this. So the first things first, Texas weight of your choice. This one's 14 gram, so you just slide that onto your line. Take your hook. I'm using a 3/0 with these large critters. Put your hook on, knot of your choice. Don't forget to wet it up. Tighten it down. Don't cut your tag end off too close to the hook, that just allows a little bit of give. And then just get your critter, take the back of the lure, bury the hook point into your lure just until it reaches the bend of your hook, and it's a case of simply popping it through, sliding the critter around over the eye, and that just gives you a little bit of protection of your knot as well against the weight. And then a simple case of flipping it over, pushing the hook through your bait, and you'll see it sits nicely in that little slot there. And before you cast out, a little bit of saliva, and that just frees things up, so it slides down a lot easier when the fish clamps down. And that's all there is to it. It's that simple. Now, if you're not confident in doing that, Rage do supply these pre-tied kits, available in different sizes. You get 3 different colours, and everything's rigged up and ready to go. Or the only knot that you need to tie is straight onto your main line, your braided line, back-to-back grinner, Albright knot, FG knot, whatever you want to do. But it's that simple, and it's a great presentation for catching perch, which is what you've seen today. Give it a go. Hey, there we go. Different position, everything gone quiet where we were casting earlier, so the shoal has obviously moved around. And what's quite interesting here is it's full of leeches, that one, all over it. I thought it was bloodworm for a minute, but yeah, there we go. Happy days. Put that one in the net. And that's the thing with perch fishing, when an area goes quiet, those fish are obviously moved off it. You know, they move up and down the feature where you're fishing quite often, so it's important to keep casting around, covering as much water as possible in the vicinity where you've located the perch, and that's exactly what we did there. And proof's in the pudding. Second cast, bang, fish. Right then guys, as you've just seen, I've just showed you how to tie the basic Texas rig, but there are a few things that I like to do just to add a bit more attraction into the rig itself. So I'm just going to show you just a few little techniques that I add into my Texas rig fishing. The first one being, I've got a rubber stop knot, float stop, on the fluorocarbon line, and that just allows me to choose whether I want that lure to fall through the water column quicker, or as it falls through, your Texas weight will slide down the line and your bait will suspend above it, giving a nice slow drop. So the distance that you have that from your bait will determine just how quickly that bait actually falls through the water once that tungsten hits the deck. The next thing I like to do is add a little tiny glass bead onto your main line, like so, and tie the hook on, and all that glass bead does is just add a little bit of traction by a little click click noise, so it transmits a little bit of sound through the water, attracting the fish. Trim the tag end off, again not cutting it too short. Get your critter, again all the way down to the bend of the hook and just a little bit further, pushing on, slide it round over the eye in your knot, so that gives a little protection, and down slides your glass bead and your weight clicks against that bead. The other thing I like to do is, I'm a big believer in noise, whatever kind of fishing that I do, whether it's pike fishing, perch fishing, zander fishing, chub fishing, bass fishing. I always use rattles in my lures. I really do believe it makes a huge difference. So all I do is get these little glass rattles, they come in various sizes, and I put that into the belly of the lure, and just push it into the body like so. I don't push it anywhere near where that hook needs to pull through, because obviously you want that to go down nice and easy. But the lure, the glass bead is towards the front of the lure, or the back end of the critter, shall I say, towards the hook eye. And again, you've got the little click noise of that bait, and when you're tapping on the rod tip, causing that to move up and down in the water column, you're also creating an extra bit of rattle from that glass rattle there. So nice little tip, put that into your own fishing, get out there and try it, and hopefully you'll catch more fish. Yeah, there is a bit of a difference with where I'm casting. Doesn't appear to be much structure at all, it's quite a clean bottom, not picking any weed up. I'm just casting towards the tower, and then it sinks right down besides it. I'm definitely not bringing the lure over any snags or anything like that. So I'd imagine I'm fishing over a bit of a silty area. And not far off that, obviously there's the pipe off the structure, and then there's a weed bed. So one of the other things that I'm going to bear in mind is, I've dropped the anchor about 3 or 4 times on different spots, either side of the pipe, and it's fairly silty and whatnot, so I've obviously stirred and raked up the bottom, and I was just wondering whether, because that spot's gone quiet now, those perch might have moved in over that raked area where the anchor is, feeding on the bloodworm and other stuff that is here. So yeah, I'm going to cast around on that, but the fish have definitely moved off that spot. Okay, so we've just cast out, and I'm just going to start my retrieve now. I'm just going to show you a couple of basic ways to do this. The first one is you can just drag the lure along the deck. So all you need to do is to take up the slack until you can just feel a bit of tension on the line, and then just pull your rod back and then wind down, winding the slack, and that lure's sitting still. So you just creep in that lure along the deck, dragging it amongst the debris, amongst the silt, amongst the weed, nice and slowly. And you're never winding in, all you're doing is just taking that slack up each time you pull the rod back about a foot and then down again. And I'm just waiting for any dings, sharp taps, all that solid boom, and the rod tip goes over. Now it's worth playing around with lots of different retrieves. Some days I want it slow, some days I want it fast. And then all you do is you cast out, let that lure hit the deck, and just you can retrieve it back just like you would do with a normal jig head. A couple of sharp taps and retrieve. Trying to keep in contact with that lure all the time. I've switched to a heavier weight and whatnot because the wind's picked up, so that's creating a bow in the line. So with a heavier weight, that's compensating, helping me to stay in touch with that lure. And always fish your lure right to the boat and right underneath your rod tip, because quite often they'll follow that lure right in. And again, just cast out, let that lure sink to the bottom. I've just gone a little bit over to my right now, trying to cover as much as I can. Obviously you all know the clock saying 1, 2, 3, 4. Just cover the water until you find those perch, and then mix it up. A couple of jigs, a couple of drags across the deck, and leave it and just let it sit there. One of the important things about in all your fishing, all your lure fishing, is trying to envisage what that lure is actually doing in the water and where it's sitting, what it's sitting over. And the beauty of the Texas rig and the Carolina rigs, it allows you to fish amongst the debris, amongst the weed, as opposed to using a chub rig or a jig head, where that weight is right at the front of the lure, fixed permanently. It's always going to crash into that weed and debris, and you're going to get snagged up with weed and whatnot. With a Texas weight, it'll actually fall into the weed and leave your hook bait sitting on top of the weed. There are certain weeds then that you can't fish that in, like the siltweed and stuff like that, but generally with Canadian pondweed and all that, those kind of weeds, the dense stuff, this rig really excels itself in that. And then if you go into Carolina rig fishing, that's ideal for if the weed's quite deep. You can set that fixed. Well, that was a nice trout. You can set it fixed, so what you'd basically have is another float stop directly below your Texas weight, and then you can fix your weight in place there, or you can use a swivel, and that allows that lure to sit above the weed at all times while that weight sinks and digs into the weed. It won't sink all the way down, but it will drop down, leaving that lure sat on top, and that's really important. This is a better one. Oh yeah, it's a nice fish. Oh, it's not that big. It felt like it. There we go. There's a sight from that new spot again. Little peach, 2-pounder. Getting on the critter. Happy days. Now some of you may be wondering why I'm lip gripping the fish. Obviously because of the boat and everything, I don't want to drop it. But as long as you support it, and you're not doing that fish any harm at all. So there you go. Let's get that one in the net. Beautiful. Well, what a fantastic day it's been here at Newton Fisheries in Lincolnshire. We've caught lots of perch. This is the last net full now. All falling to the roach critters in various colours, and some of the new colours as well. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Fantastic day. There we go, there's another one. Nothing under £2, everything over that, high twos. And I'm definitely coming back to Toft because this perch fishing is amazing.